Krune Nitya Nanda Mahajan Shadavanjane Shadavanjane.
Hare Krishna everyone, and welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam class and attentive chanting. Thank you for joining this morning. I was enjoying the Nityananda Mahajan Kirtan. Nityananda appearance day coming soon, and Nityananda has his shop open for business, and he says just bring some faith and take everything. So maybe we should look at it like this: we open for business, selling the holy name, and you just pay with some faith. That's what you need. So Hare Krishna, we'll do a quick prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So today we talk about the glories of Lord Ananta, Ananta Dev. So who is Lord Ananta? Well, Shukadev Goswami describes Ananta as the source of Lord Shiva. Lord Ananta, whose body is completely spiritual, resides at the root of the planet Patal, and he always lives in the core of Lord Shiva's heart, and he helps him destroy the universe. Ananta instructs Lord Shiva how to destroy the cosmos, and thus he is sometimes called Tamasi, or one who is in the mode of darkness. He is the original deity of material consciousness, and because he attracts all living entities, he is sometimes known as Sankarshan as well. So the entire material world is situated in the hoods of Lord Sankarshan or Anantadev. From his forehead, he also transmits to Lord Shiva the power to destroy this material world. And because Lord Sankarshan is an expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, many devotees offer him prayers, and in the planetary system of Patal, all the Suras, Asuras, Gandharvas, Vidyadhars, and learned sages offer him their respectful obeisances. So anyone who hears about him from a proper spiritual master becomes free from all material conceptions of life. So just hearing about Lord Ananta is very, very auspicious. The entire material energy is working according to the plans of Anantadev. Therefore, we should regard him as the root cause of all the material creation. There is no end to his strength, and no one can fully describe him, even with his countless mouths. Therefore, he is called Ananta, which means unlimited. Being very merciful toward all living entities, he exhibits his spiritual body. So actually it's Lord Balram, isn't it? So Lord Balram is the expansion of Lord Krishna, and then Lord Balram expands into Anantadev. So it's Lord Balram who expands into the great serpent known as Ananta or Sheshnag. He deposits on the causal ocean and serves as the couch upon whom Mahavishnu reclines. Thus mentioned in Brahma Samhita. And Ananta Shesha is the devotee incarnation of God, who knows nothing but service to Lord Krishna. And with his thousands of mouths, he always sings the endless glories of Lord Krishna. He also expands himself to serve as Lord Krishna's paraphernalia, including such items as umbrella, slippers, bedding, pillow, garments, resting chair, residence, sacred Gayatri thread, and is thrown in the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Thus he has attained and exhibits the ultimate end of servitude to Lord Krishna. So, who can even imagine doing all these things? Lord Ananta is doing all this. So, on one place he is holding up the universes, other places he is the paraphernalia and the bed and the throne of Krishna and Narayan, Vishnu. So Lord Balaram is the original servitor Godhead, He is Krishna himself appearing to serve Krishna. Lord Balaram is known as servitor God who teaches living entities how to serve Lord Krishna, because he is the ultimate servant. And Sri Sukdev Goswami said to Maharaj Parikshit, "My dear king, approximately 240,000 miles beneath the planet Patal, so that's the lowest planet, Patalok, and 240,000 miles below that lives another incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the expansion of Lord Vishnu, known as Lord Ananta or Lord Sankarshan." So we keep saying Lord is the expansion of Balaram or Vishnu. So they're all in a line. They come in a line. So you can describe anyone. They sort of expand from one another. He is always in the transcendental position because he is worshipped by Lord Shiva, the deity of Tamagun or darkness. Is sometimes called Tamasi. Lord Ananta is the predominating deity of the material world of ignorance as well as false ego of all conditioned souls. When a conditioned living being thinks, "I am the enjoyer and this world is meant to be enjoyed by me," this conception of life is dictated to him by Sankarshan. Thus the mundane conditioned souls thinks himself the Supreme Lord. Lord Sankarshan is the predominant deity of the false conception. Krishna confirms this in Bhagavad-Gita as well, actually. Slok 15:15, Sarvasya cham hirde sanvishto matha samriti gyan apanam cha. So Krishna says there that I am seated in everyone's heart and from me come remembrance, knowledge and forgetfulness. So the Lord is situated in everyone's heart as Sankarshan, and when a demon thinks himself one with the Supreme Lord, the Lord keeps him in that darkness. So, Lord fulfills our desires. So that's what we want, then, that's what we get. Although such a demoniac living entity is only an insignificant part of the Supreme Lord, he forgets his true position and thinks he is the Supreme Lord. Because this forgetfulness is created by Sankarshan, the name Tamasi doesn't indicate that he is a material body, he is always transcendental, but because he is the super soul of Lord Shiva, who must perform tamasic activities, Sankarshan is sometimes called Tamasi. That's another reason. So Shukadev Goswami continues telling Maharaj Parikshit, this great universe situated on one of Lord Anantadev's thousands of hoods. So Anantadev has 1,000 heads or hoods, and our universe appears like a white mustard seed. That's how heavy it feels to him. He's holding it up on his hood, and it feels like, if we had like a little mustard seed on our head, and we wouldn't feel any weight. This is how strong he is, that he can carry the whole universe on his head and not feel any weight. It is infinitesimal compared to the hood of Lord Ananta. And so that's how he carries the universe on his head. And then on the side of destruction of the material world, which he also takes part in, at the time of devastation, when Lord Anantadev desires to destroy the entire creation, he becomes slightly angry. And then from between his two eyebrows appears three-eyed Rudra carrying a trident. This Rudra, who is also known as Sankarshan, is the embodiment of the 11 Rudras, or incarnations of Lord Shiva. He appears in order to devastate the entire creation. So this is I think when the full annihilation takes place. And in each creation, the living entities are given a chance to close their business as conditioned souls. And this is why Lord Ananta gets angry, because we are given this chance. We're given trillions of years to close our business here. This business of coming, life, birth, death, old age, disease, just going around, taking different bodies, and just keeping these material desires strong. And so many desires we have. We just keep them going. We have, our desires are so big, and our Guru Maharaj says that our desires are so big, they're like the ocean, and we are like the bottle. We really can't. We have so many desires that we can't absorb the ocean of desires into this bottle. That's why we're always unsatisfied. So in each creation, the living entities are given a chance to close this business as conditioned souls. And when they misuse this opportunity and don't go back home, you had like 311 trillion years to go back home, and you don't go back to Godhead, Lord Sankarshan becomes angry. So he's our well-wisher. He wants us to go back home, gives so much opportunity, even fulfills our desires. Okay, if this like a child, if this is what you want, okay, I'll fulfill that. But he's not happy about it. He's not happy that we are doing this, but he fulfills our desires anyway. So, sorry about that. Right, so what are the qualities of Lord Ananta? Lord Sankarshan, he is the ocean of unlimited spiritual qualities, and thus he is known as Anantadev. He is not different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead for the welfare of all living entities within this material world. He resides in his abode, restraining his anger and intolerance. So Anantadev's main mission is to dissolve this material creation, but he checks his anger and intolerance. This material world is created to give the conditioned souls another chance to go back home, back to Godhead, but most of them don't take advantage of the facility. And after the creation, they again exercise their old propensity for lording it over the material world. These activities of conditioned souls anger Anantadev, and he desires to destroy the entire material world. Yet because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is kind towards and checks his anger. So this is one of his qualities, that even though he's angry, he's still kind and holds his anger all that time. But when the time comes at the end, then he has to destroy everything. So, like enough is enough. Only at a certain time does he express his anger and destroy the material world. So when he sees us abusing this opportunity that we have, he becomes actually angry, but he holds his anger, just like a parent. He tries to control it, but eventually he has to, he says enough is now enough. And if persons who are very serious about being liberated from material life hear the glories of Anantadev from the mouth of spiritual master in the chain of disciplic succession, and if they always meditate upon Sankarshan, the Lord enters the cause of their hearts, vanquishes all the dirty contaminations of the material modes of nature, and cuts to pieces the heart knot within the heart. So this is how much he helps us if we want to be helped, which has been tied tightly since time immemorial by the desire to dominate material nature through fruitive activities. So Narad Muni, the son of Lord Brahma, always glorifies Anantadev in his father's assembly, which is Lord Brahma. Therefore he sings blissful verses of his own composition, accompanied by his stringed instrument, or a celestial singer known as Tumburu. That's his stringed instrument. So none of these descriptions of Anantadev are imaginary. Srila Prabhupada says that whatever been said here is not imaginary. They are all transcendentally blissful and full of actual knowledge. However, unless one hears directly from a bona fide spiritual master in the line of disciplic succession, one cannot understand them. This knowledge is delivered to Narad by Lord Brahma, and the great Saint Narad, along with his companion Tumburu, distributes it all over the universe. So what does Narad say? Some of the things he says: by the mere glance of Lord Ananta, the three material modes of nature interact to produce creation, maintenance, and annihilation. These modes of nature manifest again and again. The Lord is glorified as one without an equal, and as the supreme truth who has no beginning. Therefore he is called Anantadev, unlimited. Who can understand him? He manifests his purely spiritual body only by his mercy. All the activities in this material world are conducted only on the basis of this form. He is very powerful, like a lion, and always prepared to please his personal associates and devotees. If one simply tries to participate in the congregational chanting of the glories of Lord Ananta, the impurities in the hearts accumulated for many births will immediately be washed away. Therefore, Vaishnav never misses an opportunity to glorify Anantadev. And this is why I wanted to just mention this today, because it's very auspicious and we should always glorify Anantadev. Lord Anantadev is known as Sesha, which also means the end. So Ananta is unlimited, and then Shesha means the end, because he brings about the end. because he ends our sojourn in this material world. Simply by reciting his glories, all people can be liberated. Anantadev sustains the entire universe with his millions of planets containing enormous oceans and mountains, and on his head, all trees and everything just all carried on his head. He's so huge and powerful that this entire universe rests on one of his hoods, just like a drop of water or a mustard seed, as I said earlier, and he doesn't even know where it is. It's amazing. While bearing the universe on one of his hoods, Anantadev chants the glories of Krishna with each of his thousands of mouths. Although he has been chanting the glories of Lord Krishna since time immemorial, he still has not come to an end. So this is how much Krishna can be glorified. And to this very day, Lord Ananta simply continues the chanting of the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and yet he finds no end to them. So he thus mentioned the Chaitanya Bhagavata. So this is amazing. This is what Narad Muni he glorifies Anantadev, and then because we are in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, so we also follow Lord Chaitanya's example as well, and the Vaishnava Gaudiya Sampradaya, we glorify Anantadev, and it's mentioned that the Vaishnavas in the Gaudiya Sampradaya belong to the disciplic succession stemming from Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma is the spiritual master of Narad, Narad is the spiritual master of Vyasadeva, and Vyasadeva wrote the Srimad Bhagavatam. So as a commentary on the Vedanta Sutra, so therefore all devotees in the Gaudiya Sampradaya accept the activities of Lord Ananta, because they're mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, related in the Srimad Bhagavatam as authentic. Because it's hard to believe, if you tell somebody who's totally new, when you say, oh, there's an Anantadev and he carries the universe on his hood, it would be very, very difficult for someone to accept something like that. But if you see the planetary chart, with our showing all the universe and all the bubbles the universe is coming out, and also Vaikuntha and Goloka, that Goloka chart, you can see Anantadev right at the bottom of our universe holding the universe on his head, and he holds all the other universes on his head as well. So we in fact we accept the Bhagavad-Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam as authority, and it's very important to do that, to go back home. And we also find that, especially in ISKCON, that while constructing the temple, the foundation is laid and the deity of Ananta Shesha is installed first. They bury the deity in the ground. The idea of this ceremony, which is recommended in the Agam Shastras, which is part of the Vedic literatures, is that the entire temple building of Lord Krishna will be resting on the hoods of Ananta Shesha. So they lay the Shesha deity, brass deity, into the ground, and they build the temple on top of that. So the Sanctum Sectorum, which is the Garbhagriha of the Vrindavan Chandrodaya Mandir, is mentioned, is at the height of 15 meters from the ground, and the Agam Shastra recommend that the altar has to have Bhusparsha contact with the earth, and hence it is first on Bhusparsha Stamba, and during the ceremony the deity Vananta is placed under the Bhusparsha Stamba, which is formed by filling earth from several holy places and river basins from all over India. And so Lord Sankarshan or Lord Ananta is the center of all this when they're building a temple. And you can see the Ananta Shesha is given Abhishek in the presence of Srila Prabhupada deity, and also a fire sacrifice yajna is also carried out, and then they take the deity of Lord Ananta and they bury it into the ground of the building that's been built. And Lord Ananta serves the Supreme Lord by assuming various forms, as we mentioned earlier, like umbrella, slippers, bedding, pillow, garments, resting chair, throne, etc. Srila Prabhupada, in his Srimad Bhagavatam purports, explains that Ananta's strength is so great that innumerable universes rest on his hoods, since his strength is unlimited, on the again that all the universes are no heavier than mustard seeds. And also the brass deity of Ananta Shesha is laid into the foundation of each new ISKCON temple. This is another reason why they lay the Ananta Shesha uh, deity into the ground in the presence of Srila Prabhupada deity and the fire sacrifice, is because after well, they do the yajna, and they also, when they lay the deity into the ground, they do arti to the deity, and then it's covered by soil. Now the significance behind all this is that Ananta is the seat of Lord Vishnu. So this is another reason. One is he carries the temple on his head, and the other is that he is the seat of Lord Vishnu. So the seat is being prepared by inviting Shesha. So Shesha is there, and then they invite Lord Vishnu. So all this area is purified by the presence of Lord Nanta, and then Lord Nanta invites Lord Vishnu to take his seat, which is obviously Lord Ananta. So these are some of the reasons. So Lord Ananta is very significant, plays a very significant role in our Gaudiya Sampradaya. So I thought it was just worth mentioning, talking about this, because even I'm not always, I wasn't that familiar with the with the role of Lord Ananta. I know that we always mention that fire comes out of his mouth when the creation is destroyed, but there's a lot of other things that are mentioned, so relevant. So thank you so much. And anything you like to add or like to say about this, we're happy to discuss. And just want to thank everybody for joining today. Sarveshi Mataji, Harini Mataji, Rukmani Mataji, uh, Jai Prabhu, Parveen Mataji, Prem Prakash Prabhu, and Ravina Mataji. iPhone, I can only assume it's Nitai Charan Prabhu, I hope. So thank you all so much. Suresh Mataji, you have your microphone open. Maybe you'd like to add something?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Uh, Ant means end,
Ji.
and Ananta is endless.
Yeah.
So Ananta is endless, unlimited, and spiritual.
Ji.
He is very merciful to all the living entities. He wants everybody to go back to Godhead.
Yeah.
And the living entity, I mean, hardly they do that. So he goes into the heart of Lord Shiva, and that causes devastation. In Ananta appears in all yugas with Supreme Personality of Godhead to serve and protect him. In Treta Yuga, he came as Lakshman and went with Lord Ramchandra to the forest for 14 years to serve and protect him. In Dwapar, he appeared as Sheshnag and Balram. When Vasudeva was crossing River Yamuna from Mathura to Gokula, River Yamuna flooded with heavy rain. Sheshnag became umbrella to protect the Lord. In Kali Yuga, he came as a Nityananda to save Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He always sings glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he wants everybody to do the same. So he's an example to say that he's saving the Lord, he's protecting the Lord, he's saving the Lord, we should save the Lord as well. So he's an example. All these characters are as the example. He himself is Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he's saving the Lord. And we should do the same. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very nicely explained, Mataji. You're absolutely right. Um, this is what we have to do. There is a craving inside all of us to serve the Lord, because that's our natural propensity. We are also natural servitors. That's our position, servants of Lord. And there is a craving inside us, but because we are all covered over with illusion and we want to lord over everything material world, we are forgetful of that, but that craving is there within us all as well. We just have to find it somehow. We have to purify ourselves by chanting and doing services, purify ourselves, and then find that craving that lies. And Lord Nanta, he demonstrates that how much he's doing for the Lord, we have to find that craving. And once we find that craving, we will be also unstoppable in our service. But we find it difficult to be so enthusiastic all the time. Thank you so much, Mataji. Who else? Jay Prabhu?
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so Lord Ananta is an expansion of Vishnu and also an expansion of Balaram. He resides below the lower planetary systems and also resides in the heart of Shiv, Lord Shiv. He instructs Shiv to destroy the universe at the time of annihilation. And he's also the predominating deity for material consciousness and modes of ignorance and false ego. Anyone who hears from him, from a proper spiritual master, and chants and meditates on him, is freed from material contamination, which has been there since time immemorial. I think he's freed from sin. So that's mainly what I've got summarized what I was supposed to say. But got a question: is Lord Ananta is also a Seshnag? Well, is Seshnag the serpent bed of Vishnu?
Is he the bed?
No, the serpent bed of Vishnu. The serpent bed Vishnu lies on.
Yes, yes.
Snake. Well, when he holds up the universe, is he in human form or?
No, he's in the form of Sheshnag.
Yeah, right. Okay.
The universe is held up on his hood. And if you find the Goloka chart, if you find the Goloka chart in the on your computer, you can actually see that he's holding up the universe on his head, right?
Yeah.
Actually, and if you find a really a descriptive chart, you find, I mean, it's just mind blowing how this works. That actually Sheshnag is resting on top of the tortoise incarnation of God. He's sitting on him, and then he's holding up the universes. They're like layers. Somebody else is holding somebody else up. Somebody else is holding somebody else up. You see layers of incarnations holding each other, and there's elephants as well, and they all have names. Like it says, this is what Prabhupada says, that this is not imaginary. If it's mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, then you have to accept it. But if you find a Goloka chart, you can actually see all these things. It's just amazing. And I think Maharaj Dayanand Swami, I think, was saying a few weeks ago that I think Chakradhari Prabhu asked about the cosmos, and because it shows that our universe and as like being flat and all that, and we find it very difficult to accept all that. But he says that when you're purified, you start realizing things, and it's a lot of information. We can't go right now, but if you want to do some research, do that, and it's just amazing. It says that all the Earth is very large. Actually, it extends all the way to the ends of the universe, and explains how that's done, and how the planets, the Patal planets, they are part of the Earth planet. It's like I say, it's mind-boggling, and you have to really spend time and try and understand it. But yeah, so he's in the form of Sheshnag, holding up. What's the focus incarnation?
Cool.
Kurma Avatar. Kurma Avatar. Yeah, so he's sitting on Kurma Avatar, and he's holding up the universe, and I've seen that in the Goloka chart. You don't see it in the smaller charts, in the big chart. It's shown like that, and it's just like amazing.
Yeah, there was one other question. Is it Lord Ananta that forces Maya on us, or is it Maya Devi? So after hearing about it,
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, it's Maya Devi. It's the external energy of Lord Krishna that forces forgetfulness. As soon as we're born, we are covered over by the three modes of nature. and the external energy, we get false ego, etc., etc. Yeah, so it's Mahadevi. He just says that Lord Ananta, he sort of fulfills our desires. If we want to lord it over, and then he's like helps us forget and remember things, and he will like encourage us like a father. It's like a child wants something, and the father telling him that it's not good for you. But if the child insists, then the father will help him get it, isn't it? Say, child wants, say, some sweets, and father says, "Look, too many sweets, not good for your teeth." And then the child still insists that, no, no, I must have them. Then the father will take him to the shop himself, and then say, "Which one do you want?" So he will help you if that's your desire. He will help you with it, but he's not happy about it. He's not happy that you're missing this opportunity. And if you ask him for help to get out of this material world, then he will help you with that as well. So we this is the only thing we have. We have our desires, and everything. This world or this universe runs on our desires. It's like our desires are like the fuel. It's running on our desires. And but if we desire good things, Krishna will help us with good things. If we want bad things, he will also encourage us with bad things. We have the potential, we have that will, and Krishna gives us the energy to do it, but it's up to us what we do with it. If you have the energy, you can plug it into, like electricity, you can plug it into a heater, or you can plug it into a cooler. Krishna, you provided the energy. It's your choice. We have the choice. Where do you want to plug this energy, this electricity that's coming? You want to plug it in something cold, something hot. That will will we have. We given that will of the decision making, that much, that we are given what we do with it. Because otherwise there'll be no point. Otherwise we'll be just robots. We just do everything as we are told, and then what's the point? Now how can we serve Krishna? It has to come from the heart, isn't it? So it has to be. We have this choice. Uh, we are given a choice. Where because that's why we call the marginal energy. Do you want to serve the external or the internal? We lie on the margin. You can choose which way we want to go. So he'll help us with both. But you see, it's the material energy that actually covers us, Maya Devi.
Okay, thank you.
Does that make sense, Prabhu?
Yeah,
So he's
thank you. Yeah.
helping us, but it's the Maya Devi that's covering us. Right? Prem Prakash Prabhuji.
Hey Krishna Ravi, Naren Pranam.
Yeah.
So yes, I mean the glories of like Ananta is infinity. I mean translation in English. So glories of Ananta Dev is also infinite. I mean it can't be described.
Mm-hmm.
We can just have a indication or sanket what he is basically. So I mean although it's not possible to describe, I'll just my realization somehow says that in Anantadev, what I would like to contribute in discussion, Anantadev is also Sankarshan. I mean, so holding, I mean, we just like we can't see the sunlight as such, and we when it reflects, so we can see the objects basically. Like that, Anantadev is holding everything as a form of gravity. Uh, we can't see the things. The gravity, but when we see that the things, all the planetary systems are in place, are revolving, it's a display of a potency of Anantadev. So in that way, he's holding everything on top of his head by his potency, by his energy. But that's one of the energy. He's Sankarshan, basically. And also in Jiva Dharma, I mean, everyone will have different understanding. But the understanding which I have received is that as a Jeev Atma, basically, we come from Anantadev. So we are part and parcel of we are part and parcel of Anant Shesh, basically. So as a Jeev. And when we go back to Golok or Vaikuntha, he's happy because he's part and parcel have gone and serving him in eternal space. So, like you said, Prabhuji, he's like a father who takes care. So yes, we all have desires, and we came in this realm of material universe just for a reason that we want to be separately enjoy. We don't want to serve Krishna. We want to enjoy basically. That's what our understanding is. So we are just like playing in a garden, away from the house, basically in a garden, and then we don't realize at the moment that what we are. We do have a house, and we need to end our playing and go back in our house and do our duties basically. But once we do it, then we go back to our house basically. So that's the realization what we need. And then Anantadev is enabling us to do whatever we are playing at the moment. He is watching us. He's right there watching us what we want to do. Once we say we want to go back home, he will facilitate uh, as a form of Cheta Guru, and then he'll manifest himself as a form of Guru Tattva, and then he will take care how we go back to Angola, uh, uh, or Vaikuntha, wherever our realization or wherever our understanding takes there. So he is there. He's doing the things. And he's taking care of us somehow, because now everyone is chanting Mahamantra and everyone is desiring to go back to Golok and serve Krishna. So he will take care of it. And those who are really lucky, like yourself and uh, Nitaj and Prabhuji, and everyone who is there in this sangha, basically, who has got in touch of Guru Tattva at the moment, are very lucky, and they are experiencing the potency of Anantadev, basically, as a guidance, as a knowledge, and as a opportunity to go back to Krishna and serve him eternally. So
Thank you.
that's what I would like to put. But when Nanantadev comes as Lord Nityananda, then he is
So,
all merciful,
yeah. Well,
beyond imagination.
excellent. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And Parveen Mataji, Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, thank you. I've got nothing to add, but thank you for sharing the glories of Ananta Shesha, because I didn't know the story.
Jai.
But I've just got a question coming in my mind, Prabhuji. Like Prem Prakash Prabhu just mentioned, like because yeah, we read it as well. Because we wanted to enjoy without Krishna, so that's why we come. But then there is other side as well. We always say that like human life is the best, and we get this life so we can remember God and go back to Godhead. So it just seems like I don't know, my head is just feeling confused now. So
So you
it
have.
is because I'm just getting confused. I don't know.
So, sorry, Mataji. So I'm just concentrating on the video. So you are confused. Why? Because like we're saying that this human life is there for going back, right? And what was the
Yes, yeah, because we say, well, this is like the Shresht Jodi, because so we remember God, we worship God. But then why is it that then on the other hand we also say that because the conditioned soul wanted to enjoy without Krishna, we misused our, you know, uh, what's the word? I'm lost for word. I don't know whether it's just my head in a
question
confused
that why
state.
are we here? Why we ended up here, or why are we not going back?
No, like why there are two sides. One side is like, yes, this is the best, human life is the best because we have the ability to remember God. And
Yes.
then also the side is that we get human life because we wanted to enjoy without Krishna.
Right, right,
So
right.
that's why we get this life. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, is it clear or is it just my head, Prabhuji? I don't know.
I understand the question now. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yes, yes. Okay. Well, human life is the best in comparisons to the other jivas.
Mm,
You have 8.4 million jivas, right? Uh, Animals, trees, and mountains, and what have you, insects, uh,
mm,
fish. So compared to them, human life is the best, isn't it?
mm,
We have the
mm,
intelligence, but we tend to misuse intelligence. We behave like animals. eating, sleeping,
mm,
mating, and depending. This is what we behave like animals, but we are
mm,
above the animals. This is why I say human life is best, because we are above the animals, because we have intelligence that the other creatures don't have.
mm, mm,
So we ended up here because we wanted to enjoy ourselves. We wanted to mimic Krishna. We wanted to enjoy what he enjoys instead of trying to please him, enjoying through his senses. We want to enjoy our own senses. We want to be him. We want to be the Lord, isn't it? That's what he says here. That we want to be in charge. We want to make our decisions how we enjoy. We don't want to be servant of Krishna. So
no, but is it like we change after we take birth because we are under the influence of the three modes of nature, and then we become passionate, we become ignorant rather than doing our right work? Why we've been given this birth to remember Krishna, to glorify him? Because like God, I can speak in a little bit Hindi, क्योंकि मतलब सृष्टि रची है to show how beautiful it is, but then because we are under the influence of passion and ignorance, then we start doing wrong things, or because the life has become so materialistic, so people are doing wrong things. I don't know, I'm just
yeah,
sorry.
that's fine. Now, the thing is, we are given the reason the external energy works on us and makes us forget things because our to again to fulfill our desire, we wanted to enjoy, and the only way
Mm.
we can enjoy is that if it makes us forget our true position. Otherwise, we won't be able to enjoy. That's
So
the
is the desire, like, is the desire uh, before the soul is born, before like it gets a new body? Is the desire already there before the baby is born?
we
And
we
then
we actually shape our new body according to our desires.
desires, yeah,
So
yeah.
whatever we have this
Okay.
now, so whatever thoughts are conscious. See, this is called Krishna consciousness. We die with Krishna consciousness, then we'll go back to Krishna. If we
Mm,
die
mm,
in animal consciousness, like Bharat Maharaj, he was thinking about his animal, he went
mm,
became a deer. So whatever consciousness we die with, that's what we become. And it's not always so simple as that. It's now the consciousness we build throughout our life. It's already building our next body.
mm,
That's what the
mm,
scriptures say, that our next
mm.
body is being prepared according to our actions, our thoughts, and
Right. So
how,
what sort of things we desire now? So if we're enjoying satsang and everything, so that will,
yeah, it leaves good impressions on our
yeah,
consciousness.
yeah,
So we have
right.
built good impressions because whatever
Mm,
impression we have, that's what you will think of at the time of death. And
mm,
whatever you think in a time of death is not in your control. It's what you did all your life. That's what you'll be thinking about,
mm,
and that's there'll be
mm,
destination anyway. So it's all
mm.
there. It's pre-planned because
Yeah.
we have the we have the capacity to change things. That's one thing we
Mm,
can change. Some things we can't change, but one thing we can change is our next
mm,
destination according to our will, according
yeah.
to how we behave and how what we think and in our actions. We can change that.
Mm,
So that's that. So we have the human body is the best because we have intelligence that other things don't have, and
mm,
we are here. Material energy covers us because we want to enjoy. Then we can, if it covers us and let us think that we are the Lord's, then we can enjoy ourselves, isn't it? Otherwise, we won't be able to enjoy to our heart's content.
mm.
But
Yeah, thank you,
but
Prabhuji.
we use our intelligence while we're enjoying to our heart's content the material energy. Then we use our intelligence. Then we look at scriptures. We find a spiritual master who tells us that actually what we're doing is a mistake. This is not our, the reason we already here is because we were envious, so we want to be Lord, and that was a mistake. This is not our true identity. Material energy is not our true, or material body is not our true identity. Our true identity is spirit, soul. We are spiritual. We should be in the spiritual world. We shouldn't be in the material world at all.
Mm,
This is not our home. Like
yeah.
Prakash was saying that, once you done with playing, then you go back home to your real identity.
Mm. And also, Prabhuji, what is the source of these planetary charts? Because, like, I've got grown-up daughters who are not Krishna conscious, so they do keep asking me all these questions, where sometimes I find hard. like I was saying something, and she said, "Wait, it doesn't say in Gita." I said, "Yeah, you got to read Bhagavatam. It's there." And sometimes I'm not sure of the sources either. So where do you find the, like now we've got computers, we can check on the computer. So where did the olden times? Where did people see all these things?
Oh,
They did that.
in the olden times.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I suppose there's different scriptures for everything. The Vedas, everything. There's different scriptures who describe everything. I mean, our planetary system is described for the start. There's like 14 different planetary systems.
Yeah.
You've got the lower.
So where is this knowledge so I can guide my, them as well? So because sometimes I struggle to answer them.
Well, if you look for Goloka chart online,
Mm-hmm.
Goloka chart, Geo Loka chart,
Yeah. Yeah.
that should tell you everything. Let me see if I can find something. I don't want to do anything.
Or you can message later, otherwise I'll be delaying your chanting. Yeah.
Running out of time now. Yeah, if you look for Goloka chart, if you get stuck, let me know. But Goloka
Yeah.
chart will tell you everything on there.
Right. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Very
Hare
good.
Krishna.
Okay, I think anybody else want to add anything? Okay, so let's do a quick couple of rounds. We're running out of time. So, I mean, it's nice to have questions, but just time is always short, that's all.
Sorry, Prabhu. Yeah, sorry.
And it's nice. I like that you should be inquisitive. I mean, that's the whole idea, that we can clear and understand, from each other.
Yeah, that's what I feel, because sometimes I don't have anybody to ask questions. So I understand the time is short, but then, yeah, maybe I can message you, Prabhu, I've got this question, please answer.
No, ask here, best place, because then everybody else can also hear.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we can all learn together. So that's fine. That's good.
Hare Krishna.
Anyway, thank you so much, Mataji. Rukmini Mataji there?
Yes.
Do we start?
Okay, Prabhuji. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे हरे